because there are some things I didn't say to you that are quite important. So where were the problems? What were the problems that you faced?
Just get the rhythm.
Getting the rhythm. And what was in the way of you getting the rhythm?
Your own body.
Your body. Yeah.
Until you start moving with it.
Thank you, thank you. So until you start moving with it, I was talking to Michael about, you know, if you're bouncing a basketball, you cannot bounce a basketball like that and expect to keep it going. Your whole body has to move with it. You know, I can really pretend I can do it great. but your whole body has to move with it, okay? So that's number one. Your body needs to move. You need to be very relaxed and flexible in your own body in order to be able to do this. So if you're approaching somebody's body stiffly, it really isn't going to work. Okay? So you need to be relaxed. Next, what else got in the way? What else did you find difficult?
Just have a question. What about the transition between the techniques? I was just thinking when I was doing shaking, rocking someone, how do I get into that movement from the techniques we already learned?
Okay, that's a really good question. Do you want me to answer that now, or should we carry on with what's difficult? Yes? Okay. Does everybody want me to answer that now? So here's one way that you might, for instance, there's lots of different ways. I was saying to a few people, I will do a whole hour's treatment with this kind of work, without any oil, without any efferage, petrissage. I might do a bit of petrissage in there, but I'll do a whole hour's treatment like this, because it's my love. So for instance, you might be doing some efferage and some petrissage, or you could certainly, anytime you like, do the vibration stuff, anytime you like. You might do it before you start. A lot of the rocking movements I'll actually use through the towel before I start. You know, when you do the holds and you're feeling how somebody's body is, then I will then also just feel how does that move? How stiff is that? It feels a little bit easier to go this way than it goes this way. So it's part of the assessment, if you like. It might be part of the assessment and the treatment. So I might be doing some work either side of the spine, and this is where I might actually add techniques together. So maybe I'm doing some compression work away from the spine on the erectors, and if I'm doing some compression work, I might then add some oscillation in. Can you see that? Add a little bit of oscillation in there as well. I cannot these days do a massage without moving the tissues at the same time. So maybe again, I'm doing some compression, thumb compression. So if I'm doing some compression in there, I may also do some oscillation in there. Does that help? I might do it at the end. I might do it for the whole treatment. How long do I do it for? Rio asked, how long do I do it for? It's like everything else. It's what's working for your client. There's no, we do this for 5 minutes and then we do this for 2 minutes and then we go back to that for 5 minutes. This technique can be really, really useful for people. Some people don't like it. So, you know, when it comes to asking questions for your client, you know, some people just don't like it. They don't like being moved. They get uncomfortable with that kind of sense of movement. They feel out of control maybe sometimes.
My question, what's this good for? For instance, when we're doing palpation, we can feel the knots or stiff muscles, but like rocking the whole body, is there any particular thing we can solve with this? Or
Yes, any kind of joint issue. If you have stiff joints, the movement techniques, so any of these movement techniques will help to loosen any joints, that's for sure. Helps the fluidity of the body, helps to release muscle imbalances. You know, we talked about the scoliosis. So, like, if you've got one side of the spine that's really tight, and you know that, you've worked like that already, haven't you? You can feel along the erectors and you think, wow, that side's much tighter than that side. Well then, try a little oscillation there, because that might work better than anything else you do. So anything else that people found difficult? So mostly it's moving your own body. Anything else?
I think that some of the difficulty is when we think massage is just without moving. So part of the difficulty is us.
Yes.
That we have to be okay with and then convince the client to do it,
Yes.
but it's us first. Because what you kind of think about massage is,
Yes. Oil
isn't it?
massage.
Don't start moving, what is it?
Yeah.
So it's us sometimes the problem.
I want to kind of move on a little bit, but certainly a lot of you were doing this rocking and you can really see how it begins to move. I've got the couch moving as well now, by the way. You can see how it moves all the way to her toes and all the way to her head. If you watch her head, it's moving all the way through. And they're the kinds of things that you're watching for. I'm actually looking for how does that transfer through the body? Where are the tension areas? I can see the tension areas by the way her body moves, yeah, or doesn't move. So it's part of that assessing. But here's some really nice stuff that I just think is so easy and makes such a difference. And this is the bounce. We were talking about bouncing, yeah. So if you get somebody's arm at the side, anytime you hold, it needs to be a nice loose hold. I'm above the elbow because we're going to move the arm like this. I'm actually just cradling. It's a very soft hold. It's not a grip. If you begin to grip, it's not so pleasant. So a nice soft cradling, and there's two things from here I can do. One is bounce, and the other is swing. So I'm going to take that off a little bit more. So it's just my fingers. Can you see what I'm doing? Come in closer. So I'm just looking at the range of movement around her shoulder, and all I'm doing is swinging, and I'm going to add some bounce in there. I'm going to add a little bit more bounce in here, and maybe even a little bit of jiggling around, backwards and forwards. Bounce, 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 bounce. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. Jiggle, 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 bounce, 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 swing, swing, swing. And let's see how her shoulder looks. And how does it feel, Merv?
Brilliant.
Okay. Well, you know, we've moved it. But 5 minutes of this can save you an awful lot of massage. And it is just moving. Now, if she had a shoulder problem, so what we've talked about, if you have a shoulder problem, you're going to work with how the shoulder moves. So it might be a very, very tiny movement, just to get it moving. This is great for things like frozen shoulder, because you are not going beyond what's comfortable. So, okay, maybe this is a shoulder that's in trouble. It's stiff, it's sore. So it's stiff and sore. So I might just do a tiny movement. Tiny, tiny, tiny movement. Just to see if we can get some movement in there. And then we have a little bit more movement, and then we see what else it can do. Okay? So, you know, it's a safe way of working with people if you're sensitive with what you're doing. It's not a safe way of working with people if you don't pay attention. So I'm paying attention all the time to what's happening. Okay?
Can you just show how to get the arm into the position where it's down by the side?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Shall I show it very
Yes,
carefully?
please.
I'm going to, probably she's helping. Nice, thank you. Don't, just relax. I'm probably going to take it off like that, I would say.
Okay.
And into a sling type movement, backwards and forwards. And you know that, so often I will tell you to play. So often it's the playing that's the important thing. It's literally, I mean, you know, I play with people. I play with them all the time. I play with people's bodies. I do. Because it's fun, and you know, while you're playing with their bodies, they're loosening up all over the place. You know, we can go anywhere with her arm. Anywhere, because it'll go there. But I've already checked that. I'm gonna, I'm paying attention to how it is. So the legs, same thing. So we can just, there's a nice, if they're happy, and again you have to kind of just, she's relaxed, she's going to let me do anything, I think, actually. So I'm going to play with that whole idea of, how relaxed can she be? And she's trusting me because she knows I'm not going to drop her foot. You can lift the foot up and swing the hip. I can also just literally shake that, okay, and shake the leg. And look, you can just, if the couch stays still, I've got my leg against the couch so it does, then we can do the whole through the body, okay? I think we can play with that, but I also want to add in the vibration. Can you handle one more technique? Because I think it's quite important. Anything I'm missing, Simon? Probably. Let's add in vibration as well now. So the vibration technique is holding on, put your whole hand in contact, and you're going to just literally shake the tissues underneath. It's a shaking technique. But I want you to try that with different parts of your hand. So whole hand, great. Heel of hand, I probably use that more than anything. But I'll also use digits. I'll use digits a lot. Particularly, we've done compression. So we do a little bit of compression and it's sore and you might have found a really sore spot. And afterwards, I will very often use the vibration. I might use the vibration. See, that's what I do. What I do is move at the same time as do that. Okay? So I'm kind of doing two things at the same time. So digital vibration, very, very useful. So try the different vibration methods in different areas and just see, and it's a bit like the percussion. If you don't do it long enough, it doesn't have any effect. The other thing you can do is pick up and shake. Love it. Pick up and shake. Pick up, shake. Shake. Wherever you can grab hold of some muscle. Again. One other thing from before that I just want to show you, just to be clear with you. So you might need to go around. When we did this way of working, I didn't tell you the stages of that. So where I'm going from, if I push, I'm engaging with the tissues. I push a bit further and that's as far as she'll go. Can you just hold the end of that there? Now what I'm going to do is actually oscillate between those two. So I'm engaged and that's the full push. And I'm going to actually move between the two. That's how you work in that plane. And it would be the same if I'm working on the hip. So it's between the kind of just engaging, the push, and then I'm going to work between the two. That might help you a little bit with that one. Any questions? Any questions? Right, go then.